In some not so surprising news, Bethesda is bringing some additional ports to its beloved title to more consoles, expanding its reach to an even further audience. Yes, it looks like Skyrim will be coming to Dreamcast, Game Boy Color, and the Tamagotchi. When asked why, Todd Howard simply said, "We didn't quite make all the money we needed to make Star Citizen, but we think this will help to make that game a reality." Hey everyone, welcome to the NOOB.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Thanks for stopping by. This is our podcast format, if you want to call it, where we just kind of just bullshit about all the latest and greatest news. It's not really a new, like, we're not really delivering the news. We're just kind of talking shit about it. I don't know. We're just
not quite the Onion, but a little bit of news.
we're just talking. But yeah, this is the segment where we talk all about, sort of what's going on in the gaming world and our thoughts and opinions on all of it, which is, everybody loves that. So, but we like to kick these things off with what we're playing. And so we've both been playing a little bit of Duke Nukem 3D Anniversary.
Yeah. Taste my boot!
No!
Taste my boot!
If you kick me to death, I'm never going to live this down. We grew up playing Duke Nukem 64. Yeah. Which is probably the definitive edition minus all the extra crude nudity and stuff that you would get in the original.
Some Easter eggs were missing and stuff too. Yeah, it's hard
to call it the definitive edition because you're missing out on the boobs. But
yeah, no digitized boobies. I'm a little let down here.
Yeah, but this was like the original, like the remaster. But yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, we're playing, and I've been playing so much of that game, afterwards offline and everything, and it's still I just want to play that game. It's still so much fun even today. It's
held
still,
up so well.
It's still one of the things that I'm having the most fun with today. So it's like $2 on PC on Steam.
What
and
a
it's
freaking steal that is.
Yeah, and it's I think $5 on Switch. Like, you can probably get that with your gold points. Just go fucking pick it up. But if you're curious and don't have any clue, which shame on you, but you can check that out. We did a couch play on it last week. We actually did the last couple weeks. There's a two-parter there, so watch that. It's a lot of fun. We're going to be doing those each week. We're going to be doing couch plays like that, so you can look forward to that. And actually, starting this coming week, I think what we're going to start doing is we're going to play a game, and then depending on what the game is, we're going to do some form of giveaway around that game. Just tune in. You'll find out. We'll read y'all more of the details when you watch those.
Incentives.
But, yes, we're trying to buy your friendship.
You will buy our love. We're shameless.
But yeah, check those out. We'll talk all about that at the beginning of each one. But yeah, so check that out. But other than that, Corey, what you been playing?
A little pitter-pattering of a few things. I've been playing it's kind of like almost a first-person shooter week for me. Me and my friends like to hop on, and we were doing Insurgency Sandstorm. It's been out game that's been out for a while, but kind of a nice, fun arcadey shooter. The AI in that game is brutal to you, by the way. They can hit you from a mile away. So I've been playing that, a little bit of Hell Let Loose, and for people who aren't familiar with Hell Let Loose, great game. Very big military sim game. The tank warfare in that game, it's a three-man crew. One's a driver, one's a gunner, and one's kind of the tank commander, along with the other players in the map. But even just for the tank play alone, that game is such an interesting experience. It takes a lot of teamwork. You have to communicate. Just great game. If you love military sims, hop into that one. Graphics are also terrific. So yeah, you can find them both on Steam. Just great first-person shooters for you with your friends if you love that shit.
And that was that game that like blew up big time on Twitch there for a bit, wasn't it? Hell Let Loose.
Yeah,
or no, or am I thinking Tarkov?
That's Tarkov. And also another game that's popular. I jump in it every now and again. A very deep learning curve. If you have someone playing the game, it might help you out a little bit. But that game, if you have to really love that game for it to treat you well. But maybe give it a try. You
know what? Now I remember Hell Let Loose. I remember I bought that because you told me it's like Team 17 fucking makes it, of all people.
Yeah.
And then but I bought it and still haven't turned it on yet.
We'll get around to it.
I'll get there.
Even for the tank game, we'll try it out.
Yeah. That's awesome. And especially like what you were saying about the difficulty in the AI in the one. I like that. That's cool. I love, games that are kind of brutally hard sometimes, but
you get domed as soon as you come around a corner, like, who the fuck killed me?
Yeah. So I've now that I've actually picked back up where I left off on Bug Fables. Started playing that again.
Okay.
I had that on Steam. I've had it for a while, but I've been playing some other stuff that's sort of been distracting me. But got kind of back in the mood, so I've been playing a lot of that. It's a really fun game. A callback to like old Paper Mario style games and everything. If you haven't played it and you like those old Paper Mario type games, just do it. It's pretty much what it is. It's basically Paper Mario, but they don't have rights to the IP, so they changed the models. It's basically it. But yeah, that's been a lot of fun. And then I also just finally finished Last of Us this past week, Last of Us 2, and
right.
yeah, so you know what? And I actually kind of wanted to kick things off before we start like talking about like what's going on. I mean, this kind of falls in line with that, but like ever since this game's come out, there's been so much fucking drama, like just everyone hating on this. Either people like absolutely hate the story and like to the point I think we talked about it in the last segment where like
they wanted to change the story.
Yeah, there's a fucking petition to do like come on. And then there's other people that are like, like I actually
Hi,
I
Yuffie.
really liked it. What's up, Yuffie? I actually really, really liked that game. I thought the story was pretty great, and I don't know why everyone's bitching and moaning. Like, I mean, I know why people are bitching and moaning, but it's really dumb, and it's like let it go kind of bullshit. It's like snowflake material shit. And some people, I wonder, like, how much they actually have experienced of the story before they just started jumping to these conclusions and everything. But, like, everything sort of makes sense. Like, all the, like, everyone complains about, of course, one of the characters being Abby. I'm not going to get into any spoiler territories, but, like, I did not mind Abby. I thought she was just fine. I thought her motivations made perfect sense. I thought Ellie's motivations made perfect sense. I thought the ending kind of came to a place that I sort of expected it to. And even like, I think the one thing that I've heard about it in the past was like the anticlimactic ending. And I kind of agree with that a bit. Like, I do understand what people mean when they talk about that. But at the same time, if you think about it, the ending is also kind of fitting, albeit anticlimactic. It actually kind of makes sense because it's again, without getting into any spoilers, it's sort of like in a time like this, like grandiose resolution just doesn't make any sense. So like having something a little more anticlimactic and a little more, not so amazing, like just kind of fits the theme to everything. So I think it
true.
went. Yeah, I think it went really. It went the way I expected. I thought it was a really great game, and maybe it was just because I didn't have nearly as high of expectations.
Even when watching your playthrough the game, like the way the game's structured, it isn't meant for like giant platitudes and like the hero comes in and saves the day sort of thing. They went for a more darker, gritty, grounded kind of thing, and to have a ending that maybe that it wasn't so grandiose, like you said, kind of fits the storyline a little bit better.
Yeah, and so like I thought it was fine. Of course, from a story perspective, like I thought all that was fine. Gameplay perspective, I was a little disappointed in the gameplay in that game. And I know that that's like probably everyone's more confused about that because everyone hates the story, loves the gameplay, all that kind of shit. But like, it's a Naughty Dog game. It's just like the original Last of Us. It's like the like Uncharted games. And I love getting immersed with the things. And I can't wait to go back and complete the stories. But I mean, I sort of like almost would rather watch through the experience than to physically control it in some scenarios, especially there's certain areas where you traditionally with these, new modern age games where you walk slowly while it like has to load and give you, all this dialogue while you're moving like a fucking snail's pace. And then there's other sections, like especially like certain things, like you can upgrade it a bit, like to like while you're proning or listening to like crawl around and move faster. You can upgrade that a little bit, but even when you upgrade that, it's not amazing, and it's just kind of like it just kind of feels like it's weighty, and it's drags its ass on the carpet more often than I like it to, I guess. But it's solid though. Like I don't want to say that it doesn't control like dog shit or anything. It's just it's not going to win any awards when it comes to, you know, like just fun gameplay, like just, you know, like pure joy from a gameplay perspective. Story wise, you know, as far as like impressive engine and graphics are concerned, like, you know, like sure, maybe. But anyway, I just want to get that, just like that, my brief little, you know, overview review of that game. I thought it was pretty good. Don't listen to all the bullshit online. Form your own opinion. Just go with it.
Just drama about everything, man. Drama about everything.
Yep.
The world we live in.
And speaking of a little bit of, I guess, like controversy, I don't know if this is necessarily controversy, but it's like springs to mind, especially because I talked about Bug Fables and Paper Mario, but the Origami King impressions are kind of coming in. So yeah, you're seeing all those because that comes out next Friday, 17th. So like all the embargoes and stuff are starting to lift, and like you're starting to see some early reviews, impressions of the game. Actually, you're seeing way too much of the game. I think Nintendo just did a treehouse where they like showed them playing through like a lot of the game, and then even playing through like a boss and all this kind. Like at this point, it's like if you've been following up, it's like almost feels completely ruined.
Is there no surprises to the game anymore? Like even the original trailer showed way too much of the gameplay.
Oh yeah, but it does seem like this is where I guess the marginal controversy kind of idea kicks in. But it does seem like this is very much a more modern Paper Mario type game. It's not at all a throwback to the original. It's just yet another complete departure from everything else. There's no experience points, that's probably the biggest bummer a lot of people were worried about, because that's what happened in Color Splash. I believe.
That wasn't a very popular one of the game's variants, was it? Color Splash?
That one was actually had like a weird split. Like there are some people that really liked it and other people that like stand. But I think if you're like into the original Super Mario's, you're not going to like Color Splash. But like if you're not so tied to that, like I think you can find enjoyment. But one of the biggest problems was the lack of experience points, which made battles feel useless. And it looks like this one falls into the same trope. Like there's no experience points for the battles. It seems like your incentive to battle is just collecting coins and confetti. But from what I'm reading, they just throw that shit at you, which is kind of classic Nintendo. Like they just, they're like, oh, here's a motivation for these resources, but here's an abundance of it to make it kind of feel like there still isn't a motivation. So I don't know. I the more I see of it, the more disappointing it kind of looks. However, I'm still gonna, you know, grab it and give it a go, because from what I do also hear though, that the people that are playing it are saying that they're still enjoying it, they're still having fun, but it's nowhere near like going back to the original. So like people can get their disappointment out of the way, I guess. But I still always tell people, hey, like try it before you like judge it, and so I'm gonna do that.
It still looks fantastic, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sure the mechanics are good.
Yeah, it's Nintendo. It's a you know, sort of first party IP. I guess it's kind of a third party, first party IP, whatever you want to call it. But you know, you could at least, I would imagine you can at least expect it to be very polished, very sort of almost technically perfect, you know, and then very fun. And then it's, you know, everything else is, I hear that it does seem like people are saying that the visuals are great, and of course the writing, that's where those games are also really known for, is their very clever, funny writing. So I'm looking forward to it either way, but I'm just kind of tempering my expectations now is all. Yeah.
Anyway, so next running up, I don't know if you've heard about this, but Sega has kind of got a new console coming out. I know whenever it says new console, everyone's like, oh, PS5 next gen. No, it's not quite that. But this thing is kind of adorable little, like, if you see it, I'll throw some pictures up there. It looks like a little mini, if you go to old school arcade, the little joystick and the buttons. This thing's got, I think, like over like 36 games on it too, like Alien Assault, some old school arcade stuff.
There's some good ones, yeah.
But I thought it was just, when I first saw it, it's kind of I think currently only going to be released in Japan, but some people might be able to get their hands on it in the States. I think if you go through just the a different Amazon store. So I saw that. I thought it was like, it might be a little cool novelty thing. I imagine myself at work just having it on my desk and being like, hop over and playing it.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a really cool thing.
Yeah, it's funny. I actually have some stuff like that, like a little Pac-Man little joystick thing at my desk at work and everything like that too. So those things are always charming. It's funny because it's like Sega just keeps doing this shit. Like like it was only like a few weeks ago they were touting all these like major announcements and everything. It was like big things coming, revolutionary shit coming, and it's like cloud gaming for regular arcade systems, and then the little mini fucking Game Gear, you know, and now it's like new system, and then it's like just another one of these like sort of, you know, but no, it's definitely interesting, and it's definitely a collector's item type thing, and I have to imagine that that's really their market. I don't think that they think that people want to play a nickel-sized, you know, fucking Game Gear and the like I imagine that they know that this is a collector's thing and that's who's going to eat this up, and they're going to pay a relatively premium price for it, you know. But it's funny because it was just another one of those, like I saw like a headline, I think that said like Sega announces new system, and I was like, what? And then like I like you click on it and you just see the image, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, so I was like, wait, what the fuck is this thing?
Yeah, but it's neat. Yeah, those things I like, they're fascinating. I mean, it's something that I probably won't get unless I find it for something like that for very cheap, but it's definitely it's silly.
So anyways, I thought that was really cool, little piece, and like I said, I could definitely see myself maybe picking one up for my little office. So anyways, some information has been released on the PS5. Some people were conjecturing when the big PS5 was released. Some people saw something notable on the controller there, and I'll pull it up as well because people thought it was the original share function like you see with the regular PS4, PS4 Pro. Mm-hmm. But they noticed that it didn't say share on it. It had three little things jutting out of it instead. And people were wondering what this was. So after a little bit of investigation, and I think what they finally released was, they're calling it the Create Button. Mm-hmm. And people have found that with the Create Button, it's not just like your normal share button. They've kind of, I think, stated that with this feature, you can actually have snippets of playable content. Let's say I'm playing a boss or something like that, and I'm like, oh, this is a cool experience. I want Dustin to play this boss too. Without you owning the game, I can send you micro snippets of that boss fight, and you can play the mechanics and stuff like that and yourself, which I think is actually kind of brilliant from a marketing perspective. Yeah. If you're going to rope people into getting a game, get them to play a small little sampling of the game that's being pushed virally by someone else. I thought it was cool. What do you think?
Yeah, that's certainly interesting. It's almost like you create your own demo section for people. It's like, that's really cool. I mean, this is actually like, that's news to me. I mean, I knew the term create button for this thing was like, I think that's been out for a little bit, but I didn't realize that's what one of the functions was going to be. I had heard some other functions in the past, like, or at least rumors. And I don't know how old and how true these are anymore at this point, but like, in the past, I heard things about how it was going to be sort of tied to, remember what Google Stadia was trying to do a little bit, where like you could, if you were having trouble, you could hit like a certain button and it would pull up a guide for that section and all shit like that. And so I remember there was some rumblings and rumors at one point in time where like it would be linked to shit like that, which I actually think that's a really cool idea. But this concept of sending different segments for people to try, like I think that's cool, especially like for somebody that like there's actually a lot of times where I've played games before and it's a game that I know somebody else doesn't play or isn't interested in, and it's just like one neat thing and it's like not worth sending somebody like, you know, like a shit. So like I'd take like a video snippet of it and I'd send it to them, or a photo, but like the idea of taking that one step further and allowing them to like, oh dude, try this out, because you know, to get that actual interactivity, sometimes the joke or the special moment in a game is actually rooted in that interactivity. So like that's actually pretty cool. And plus, like you said, it might be one of those games, like, I mean, hell, you know how like I'm a Nintendo person and like you're kind of like, maybe a once in a while, like you'll look into one, but like sometimes like I wonder if like you're missing out on something. Like it'd be cool to like, if I sent you a video like, oh, I didn't realize those were like that. And you know, like it might incentivize you to look into something, but you know, like that's a really cool concept. So like I said, I haven't seen those. That's the first time I'm hearing this rumor, but just top of my head, I think that sounds really neat.
Yeah, I think it's a really cool concept. I could definitely see the interest in like playing a boss or something like that, or like I'm big on like sharing experiences with my friends and going, hey, you should play this game with me. I'll give you I'll send you this free little snippet of this really cool part I played. And let's say you'd hop in, you'd be like, oh, that was a really good experience. Let's both play this together. You know what I mean? It's a good way, like I said, pretty smart. I don't know how they're gonna pull it off or how long these segments they're gonna allow, because they're not gonna let you play a large portion of the game.
Yeah.
So but we'll see. It's a cool idea and idea, but functionality, I don't know.
Yeah. While we're talking about PS5. Next generation, looks like the Xbox Games event got dated.
The enemy.
Yeah, so July 23rd, man. July 23rd.
Soon.
Yeah, that's like what, 2 weeks from now?
Yeah.
Not this week, but it's like next Thursday or something. Like not this upcoming week, but the following Thursday or something like that. That's pretty cool. I think everyone's been excited, super eager to see what's coming out of this, because of course we all know Microsoft has stated in the past that, Halo Infinite's going to be there. So really, really interested in that. Can't wait to learn what's involved in that game. Of course, now we know it's, like Master Chief is going to be like the root, which is great, because Halo's been falling off for quite a bit now. But I don't know, like, I guess in my head, this like idea of what this game can be, like, it's just like, I'm just so excited, yet I know that things will never live up to those expectations. But
I'm hoping for something expansive, but a boy can dream.
Yeah. But anyway, what else? Is there anything else in the Xbox game event that you're kind of hoping to see?
One keyword, yeah, exclusives. Yes. Yeah, exclusives would be nice. I have 2 Xboxes and I don't really use them. Microsoft, why am I not using my Xboxes? They're
gonna open with Halo Infinite and being like, now expanding and coming out on PS5 and Switch.
Now re-releasing Crackdown 3 because you love that so much.
Yeah HD remaster.
Exclusives, please God.
Well, there's that rumor that was I saw that was something, Twitter account or something that was created by the Fable developer director or something. So it looks like at this point I think it's pretty heavily rumored now. I think some other stuff may have come out, but it looks like Fable is a very likely candidate, I guess we can at least say. That's pretty cool. That'd be cool. Yeah, we don't talk about it, like I don't even talk about it that much in my circles about that game, but like that game's amazing. Like I love especially like I love the original Fable, and Fable 2 was pretty cool. So yeah, I'd be really excited to get back in that franchise. I mean, I don't know. I'm hoping that like I still have time, like all these big games, these big open world type things like come out, and I'm just like I'm already starting to realize in my old age how much RPGs don't have the time and commitment value that I used to have for these things. So like in my head, I'm like, ooh, and then I'll probably play it. It's kind of like Xenoblade. I've been trying to work my way through, but I think I'm 15 hours into that right now, and I'm just like, I got all these other things I got to do. Yeah. So like, I mean, it might just end up being, if like a Fable does come out, it might just end up being another one of those things that, falls into the pit of ash that is all these games that I have just not been able to get to. But yeah, so that could be cool. I guess like you said, I think like exclusives. Yeah. Like I just want to see that in PC, like I'm cool either way, but yeah, just just gameplay. Gameplay is what I want to see, and even with Halo Infinite, like I want to see a ton of gameplay. I don't want like 5 minutes of gameplay and like a lot of these cinematic things. Like just give me as much gameplay as you can. And then I think everyone's also wondering, and who knows when it's actually going to happen, because it's like both sides, like Sony and Microsoft are like playing chicken right now with this price point. So who knows? Maybe they'll announce the price point of the Xbox Series X. Maybe they'll even announce what that other one's allegedly going to be, the cheaper model.
I think they just want to wait to undercut the other one, and it's like, well, you're selling for $450. Well, I'm doing $425. Fuck you.
It definitely seems like that's the strategy. But at this point in time, it's like you're getting so close
Yeah.
someone's got to do it. And I think like there's all these things that you can still do. Like, I mean, it seems like at least Microsoft's going to seemingly have more backwards compatibility of an edge. But of course, and also like performance from the sounds of it thus far. But then it also seems like the PS5 is going to be more like user content, like friendly. And then of course the controller, like the haptic feedback technology and stuff that they're always trying to improve. So like the extra little gadgets and, I was going to say like solid state drive, but I'm pretty sure both of them are doing that.
Yeah, they both have pretty significant I think solid state drive and some custom stuff in there that's pretty tricked out.
Yeah. But that's super exciting. That's coming up July 23rd. So we'll probably be doing a whatchamacallit?
Little reaction.
Yeah, little reaction. Little reaction video on that. We'll probably be late. It'll probably be like Friday or something after that, but
just enough where you're completely out of the realm of being relevant. Just far enough.
Because we don't care. We're just happy just by ourselves.
Just happy to be here.
Anyway, and actually, you know what? Actually, while we're talking about that, speaking of Halo 3 on PC.
All right, yeah. That's coming out.
Yeah, July 14th, which is
that ODST or just Halo 3?
Just Halo 3.
Okay.
The good game. This is like probably like arguably the best one in the series. So that's finally making its way over to PC. I mean, it's kind of like weird because I'm like we're talking about this like it's like fucking Master Chief Collection was announced forever and a fucking day ago for PC, and then remember it came out, but it was like reach only. And then it was like, then they're trickling down the original Halo, then Halo 2, and it's almost like sort of like, it's like I sort of felt, what was that when the seller like bungles you or whatever, they like fucking pull a fast one over. It's like I sort of felt like. I don't know, like we almost like felt lied to when that game came out. I'm sure that like we probably just didn't read into it. It was probably like all over the news and we just missed it. But like, I don't know. It's just like it felt so insignificant whenever the Master Chief Collection hit the PC because it was just one game. And now they're trickling out. But now it's like been so long that even Master Chief Collection hitting PC just sort of feels like way old news at this point. So like, it's cool, Halo 3 for PC, but at this point, it also feels like such old news that I'm not actually super excited, but it's still cool. It's still good.
I feel like we're getting like the Kingdom Hearts treatment where they're like just slowly milking things for all it's worth. They're just slow rolling out things so long that it's just like, who cares at this point?
Yeah.
I want new content.
Yeah, they're just gonna keep Skyrimming this thing to like death, but because I remember there's rumors for a while that Halo, the Halo collection, like Master Chief or like the original something was gonna come to Switch. I remember that was an old rumor, and I wouldn't be surprised if that eventually did happen. I wouldn't be surprised if something like along those lines did eventually happen, but I don't know.
Okay,
time will tell.
But going along lines of some interesting new games coming out, we have a little bit of a tease that came out for Far Cry. So there was a little bit of a leak, I believe, on the PlayStation Network. And then in regards to the leak, they kind of showed a little bit more, but it's like 11 seconds. You know, it's just enough for people to dissect frame by frame, maybe what the locale is. It's got like one character in it giving a little bit of a monologue. But they definitely outed that the next Far Cry is going to be coming out, and I don't know if you played any Far Cries before.
So, and it's funny you said that about the trailer too, because didn't they do that with Far Cry 4? Didn't they do like this very similar thing? Like the first thing was like a
release. Yeah,
it's like such a subtle nothing type announcement that you're like, great, thanks, let me know when you have some real information. Like it's like to the point where I just realized I had my cursor on your forehead this whole time. It's like one of those things where it's like you don't even know yet if something could even get canceled or like completely rebooted. It's like that feels that too early or something. But but anyway, to answer your question though, I have played. I played Far Cry 3, and I think I played the original Far Cry for a bit. I never got into them. I mean, I tried, but they just, I don't know. There's something about them that was just off-putting or something to me. I just couldn't get it. It's not like, I don't know. I honestly, I can't explain it. I just never really liked them. But yeah. So there you go. Little 11-second tease to wet your whistles.
Yeah, really. So I know you've played this next one coming up. So I think you're aware of this one. I think we played a little bit together, but the last one was in this series was not Until Dawn, but
oh yeah. No, I know what you're talking. This is the Dark Pictures Anthology series, right? Like the yeah, what the hell was the name?
Man of Medan,
yeah.
And we played that one a little bit together.
Yeah. Well, I played the first one at your place too. I think I played all the way through that one. And then Until Dawn I played all the way through, and then cuz then remember we even did the roller coaster VR version of the Until Dawn spin-off thing. Yeah. So we've been with that series, and Man of Medan was. It's very much like an entertainment piece, an interactive film. It's definitely not one of those like, oh, I want to play that game. You know, like gameplay wise, it's meh. But so I saw the trailer for this Little Hope, I think is the name of the new one, and it almost weirdly looked like a visual step backwards to me. Like
I did feel that a little bit.
Like it almost had end of cycle PS3 vibe or something to it. I don't know. Like it just didn't. I saw it and I thought everything just looked. I mean, they've always kind of had somewhat funny models, but like this one like felt just half-assed. I don't know. Like the trailer just did not. It did not win me over. I'll just say that. But
well, with Man of Medan, I don't think it did quite as well as Until Dawn sales wise, and I'm not sure if they're like kind of like lowering the developmental expectations of this new one. Because Until Dawn was a pretty good one, but Man of Medan, I think it didn't quite hit people where like Until Dawn did. They added that new mechanic in Man of Medan where you could kind of play as different characters, the little party kind of thing, which I thought was cool. But the story wasn't as scary. It was interesting, but it didn't hit you like Until Dawn, I think, did. But I know with Little Hope, they're going with the whole kind of, I think, witchcraft kind of, I think, I'm getting that sense of it, maybe. Yeah. I might be wrong there, but who knows? Maybe it might have something to it. I hope they still keep that mechanic where you can play with your friends, and if you die, it's like a permanent death thing. You kind of rag on each other. That's kind of a funny concept. But yeah, I think it's a fun one coming up to look forward to.
You're right about the first one though. Like the first Until Dawn was actually like a pretty good, I mean, albeit like sort of cliche and a bit campy. Like Until Dawn was actually pretty good, pretty solid story-wise. Man of Medan felt a little more all over the place, but yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I'm sure we'll play it. I'm sure we'll play it together too. And you know, maybe that'll be something that we can like stream a bit too, because those are always fun. And like sometimes the faces on these people when they're like horrified is just ridiculously, they're like made of like fucking Play-Doh or something. I don't know, but like it's
the mocap is bad.
Yeah, but as it just from that trailer though, I was just like, you know what? I have little hope of it being good.
Ooh.
I'm sorry. Just cut that, please. No,
I'm leaving it in stuck there forever.
Anyway, so yeah, sorry I cut you off, but
this next one, since we're kind of talking more about some more games coming out, I don't know if many people have really caught on to this one, but there's a game coming out that I wouldn't say leaked, but the trailer came out. A game called Hyperscape. It's another one of your battle royale types. This one a little intriguing because they kind of incorporated a lot of, and the best way I could describe it, and I'll put a little video up here to kind of show you, is reminiscent of Titanfall. The platforming kind of very a lot of verticality to it. But with this one, they started incorporating new features called hacking. You can pick up different abilities, it almost feels like almost Overwatchy kind of style. You pick it up mid-battle where you can kind of cast walls and things like that. And also they have a weird gun progression system where most battle royales, you pick up a gun and it has a certain value, it's good or bad. This one, you pick up a gun and you can pick up upgrade points from what I understand, and your gun gets better as you go through it. So some interesting pieces. I've never been much of a battle royaler myself, to be honest, but some of the things in this game may intrigue some people.
Yeah, I mean, I know Titanfall's been a bit hit and miss. Titanfall 2 is actually a pretty good game. I think it just like it came off the stigma from the first Titanfall, and I don't know if it just got nearly as much credit as it should have. But I have not heard of this actually. Well, I mean, I've heard of the name, but I've not seen anything on it yet. But no, it sounds interesting. When you say hacking, are you talking like Watch Dogs hacking, like actual like hacking systems, or?
It's more from what I see it in the video is you get abilities and they call them hacks. And you're not really hacking or accessing things as much as like, I think you're in a digitized environment. This battle royale maybe takes place in a simulation, and you're hacking into the simulation, causing things to happen, like a wall to come up to protect you, or maybe a push or some abilities like that.
So you're hacking the world. Yeah,
you're hacking the world.
Yeah, okay,
and
that makes
which
sense.
Again does seem interesting.
I'm
kind of interested in. Yeah, different idea behind it, so it might be cool. And I haven't been pulled into a battle royale yet. Yeah, it's gonna have to be really good to do it, honestly.
I'm surprised the battle royale thing's still going strong. Like I would have thought that this fad would have died out at this point. Like I wonder how. Like I feel like it just. I don't even play battle royale games that much, and it still feels like I'm fatigued by them. You know, but no, that's cool. That sounds like It sounds like something that's worth a shot, you know. Like I like when companies add a little twist to things like that. So, yeah, manipulating the environment, that sounds fun. I'll give it a shot. I thought Warzone, Call of Duty Warzone. Yeah, I thought that was fun. I mean, it didn't like break too much of a mold from a battle royale, you know, formula, but. I actually, and I'm not even a big Call of Duty person. Like I always like the single player, but the multiplayer stuff always just pisses me off. But it's such like a grade school festive hatred or something. But like, but I actually did really like Warzone. I played that for a little bit. But anyway,
I dabbled in that one too. It's pretty good.
Nice.
But with some other games coming out too. This one's kind of on a Kickstarter kind of platform right now. They did release a trailer, but this one's called Deathground. I know it sounds like a super edgy game, but whenever you think about this, though, I don't know why they picked the name Deathground, but this is a dinosaur-based horror game, and I'll throw some stuff up here on it. But you can in the game, it shows a velociraptor stalking you, but it shows another player in it. I can't tell if this other player is an NPC or someone else who's playing the game with you. I don't know yet. But there's a lot of hiding in lockers and kind of trying. I don't see any gunplay, or maybe I see one person with a pistol in it, but it's a pistol versus a velociraptor. So we got kind of how that's gonna go. It showed a T-Rex in there too. It had weird vibes of a mixture of kind of a Jurassic Park-esque survival horror, and at first I was kind of almost inclined to think Dino Crisis, but not so much. But definitely a hide horror, kind of you're being stalked by dinosaurs kind of thing. And I'm not sure you had a chance to see this yet, but the concept seems cool.
I mean, as you're saying it to me, I'm like, I need to go find out more about this now, because it's funny because that you even mentioned it, because when you first said dino horror, the first thing I thought of was Dino Crisis, which was fantastic.
That's a great game.
But yeah, I like this. Did you say this already? Did you say first person?
I believe first person. Yes.
But that's that's kind of cool because it's like it does like kind of harken all these like little childhood like nostalgic feelings in me, like ooh, Dino Crisis, ooh, Turok, ooh, what's that other game that's like coming out that I'm super excited to try
the
out?
wave-based one, Extinction.
So like so I'm thinking about like all these in my head as you're saying that, as you're talking about this, and I'm just like, give me more dinosaur shit, please.
Yeah, something about dinosaurs is always just super cool. I don't know why. It really brings out your inner child.
Yeah, so seems like we're getting flooded with them lately, but that's okay. I'll take a little bit of I was gonna make a weird sexual joke about dinosaurs. I've decided not to.
Kind of hard to come by.
Yeah, move along, sir.
Move along, sir. But I think you're gonna appreciate this one. And I'm not sure if you've heard about this next game coming up. It's gonna really disappoint you because I'm gonna say the word mobile leading up into this. But a Crash game is coming out.
Oh no!
Yeah, I know.
Don't do it to me, Tex.
I was stringing you along in that one. But yes, it's a Crash mobile game is coming out, and it's even worse. It's made by the Candy Crush developers.
Oh my god! Like it's that does.
You see, every time you get hit, every time you die, insert $1 so you can, get another life to run off a platform again.
That is some serious disappointing news. That could not get any worse. Yeah, God, talk about the microtransactions that are going to be in that shit.
Oh my god, I can't even imagine it.
It's like they couldn't just have a clean Crash Bandicoot come back and just the way everyone wanted it to be. I mean, I guess they still are. Mm-hmm. But you gotta, of course, there's got to be some fucking weird random bad news just to tarnish the name even more than it already has. But
so this one is called.
I'm not even gonna
Crash on the Run.
I'm not even gonna look it up. I'm gonna pretend that you didn't even say that. I'm gonna pretend it doesn't exist, and life is still okay because Crash Bandicoot 4 is on the way. I'm rhyming.
But yeah, it's. I just saw that it was made especially by Candy Crush developer. I was really disappointed in that. I kind of just actually gritted my teeth. I don't click my teeth too much, but I did with that one. I was like, Arr.
That's a shame. Well, you know what? Since you got to disappoint me, I'm gonna disappoint you. New Worlds is delayed. No, babe, no,
babe, no, babe. What?
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, joke's kind of on myself too, because I'm a little disappointed about that too, because I know that's a game we've been talking about getting into, that medieval open world Amazon. Mm-hmm. Well, not in the Amazon, but Amazon's making it. Yeah, game looks really cool, and we've been excited to kind of jump into it. But yeah, it looks like that's getting delayed for a little bit. I mean,
Amazon's not doing too well.
No, it's what like I think it's spring now. They said
spring of I think coming up 2000 maybe next year.
2021 spring. That's not. I mean, it's not horrible, but like it's just one of those things. And
how do they go from 2 months to over a year? That doesn't make sense.
I don't know, but they're doing something with the Crucible, aren't they?
Yeah, Amazon's not doing well. The fact that the Crucible, which was their flagship game launch, it was a third-person shooter kind of thing. It was kind of a mix between a MOBA and a third-person shooter. It didn't do really well, and in fact, it did so poorly that they're actually unreleasing the game and pulling it back into closed beta. Nice. That doesn't happen too often with games. Where,
not a lot.
And normally they suck and they can become free to play. But Amazon's like, no, our name is being tarnished or something. Yeah. So they're actually unreleasing the game, which I thought was the funniest thing I've heard in a long time.
That's pretty funny. That's just another sad example of a big company somehow failing horribly and getting it all wrong. But yeah, I've heard nothing but bad things about Crucible, so I've never I haven't even tried looking into it yet.
They don't bother, man, not yet.
Yeah. Hey, but instead of all this like poo-poo news, You remember we played a little bit of this on the stream. We played some Dreams. Remember Dreams? Yes, Dreams. We like Dreams. Dreams is a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
You know what? I actually haven't checked back in it. I think since we've done that stream, I wonder how much, like, I'm sure there's tons more interesting stuff out there.
Great content now. That one horror game was cool.
Yeah, and that actually kind of would go well with this bit of news, but looks like it seems like I'm reading that it might be getting some VR support.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think there's some games in there that were first person oriented that definitely could man, I'm just thinking about the possibilities now with some of those creative minds in that game, that platform developer.
It's interesting because my first thought on that is just like, it seems like developers just can't seem to get a handle on VR and what would make for a good experience. So let's see what the public comes up with, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of cool. I mean, it's a bit small, but like, you know, like it's also kind of like, it makes total sense. Like, it looks like it fits right in, and it's, you know, simplistic sort of artistic styles and everything that would lend itself to that, you know, VR sort of shaded look and everything. But that's pretty neat. It's nice to see that, like, I mean, it's nice to see that they're keeping up with Dreams in general and adding more support, but I do think that, you know, we talked about this before, but I think PSVR is the most successful VR application I've seen yet. I think so. That definitely has the most experiences that just, I don't know. I mean, I know you can make like Rift or whatever, like if you're from Oculus for PC, but I don't know. I just feel like PSVR has just like, is the only one that's hooked me thus far. So it's nice to see that continuing support. I'm actually excited to see what the PSVR 2 or whatever they end up naming it will be, and hopefully it's completely wireless, because once that's the case, yeah, if that's the case, that's going to be a really sweet setup. But because I mean, I really love PSVR, but I don't own it. You know, I'd rather like go over and let somebody else deal with it. Yeah,
it is cumbersome.
But if the next one's better and has, you know, like wireless setup and everything, and it'd be something I'd actually pick up myself. But yeah, so that's kind of neat.
Some good news.
Yeah, and you know, here's so this is cool. Well, it's interesting. I don't know if cool is the right word, but like so a new Wii/WiiU game is coming out. Yeah, I know this is a bit old news now at this point, but Shakedown Hawaii is getting a physical Wii and Wii U release, which it's funny. But then actually more recent news came out with some limited run stuff, which we'll talk about here in a bit. But they announced that Shantae is going to be coming to the I think Game Boy Color. And it's just kind of funny because I'm seeing these and I laugh about them initially, but then the more I think about it, I'm like, I actually think this is kind of a cool concept. Like, the idea of retro, like, physical games coming out for like collectors and stuff, and people that do own all those old systems and retain them very well. Like, I still have a Game Boy Color somewhere. I don't think it works. I think the D-pad's all busted or something. But like, yeah, but like, I just think that that's a cool concept though. Like, of course, like, we want everything ported, you know, like we want all these old games ported or coming over to like virtual consoles and stuff. But like, it's a neat concept to actually come out with the physical media cartridge or, you know, disc, whatever, for old retro systems. I think that's pretty cool. So I don't know. I just kind of hope that maybe we see more of that in the future. It's kind of neat.
Yeah, I like the nostalgia piece of it. I think that's kind of a cool concept.
Yeah. Give us Dreamcast games. Bring it.
Yeah. Really. What an underrated system.
So actually, we can kind of talk about that right now because I kind of mentioned it. But Limited Run Games just did their showcase.
Oh, okay.
Wow. They announced just like a shit ton of stuff. There are a lot of good announcements. I'm not going to cover everything. Just put that list on the screen and everything. But tons of stuff that's coming up, which really, really cool. If anyone's not familiar with Limited Run Games, they do these, as in their name, these limited run editions of, you know, games that don't have physical releases. But of course, like I said, they're limited run, so they're, you know, like there's not too many. You sort of have to get them while they're announced or shortly after, like within a week of them announcing, and then they all get sold out, and then you have to buy them for like $100 on eBay if you want them after that.
Yeah, those prices are expensive.
Yeah, but I have like several limited run games. I know we each just got Streets of Rage 4, the limited run editions.
Another fun game we played, man.
Yeah, so we played it on Steam, but then you got the PS4 edition. I got the Switch limited run edition. Those are always cool. So I'm always excited to see when they launch it, because I've got Golf Story. I love that game so much on Switch, and when that came out physical, I'm like, yeah, I gotta have that on the shelf. It's just like one of those rare things, and it's like cheap enough, like $30, like hell yeah. I think they just this week or this weekend they just released Pod Racer physical edition of that. You can pick that up on the systems now, which is so really cool stuff. But anyway, so they just had their showcase, tons of shit. The biggest, you know, of course, the biggest ones that I saw caught my eye was Samurai Jack, that game that's coming out. They're going to do a physical run,
that's
limited.
That's going to be a good one to pick up.
Which I thought was interesting, because I would have just assumed that game would have had a physical edition to it, but I guess not. So, but at least they're giving it away. And then, of course, I already talked about this a bit, but it looks like they're doing a physical edition of Bug Fables. So, if you're a physical copy kind of person and you've been holding out hope, looks like they're doing one for Switch and PS4. That's really cool. But cool. Check those games out. Keep an eye out. Bloodstained Curse of the Moon 2, I think, is that one was one of them. So a lot of really good stuff. Grandia HD collection, Grandia.
That's cool.
Yeah, a lot of really cool stuff came out in that showcase. So check those out. Those are really neat. And if nothing else, you can buy some, and even if you don't want them, you can always sell them on eBay for like $100 a pop. So there you go.
You can't really price gouge the shit out of those things.
We're enabling you price gougers. Of course, there's, you know, everyone's just fucking pulling their hair out waiting for this direct to, you know, like everyone wants it. It's like, I don't know, like they keep saying like, hey, we're not sure what we're doing. We're taking a different approach. COVID, you know, we're trying to figure things out. And everyone's still like, well, when there's got to be a direct. When's it? It's like they're doing everything in their power to sort of say, guys, don't fucking expect much out of us. And people just still expect the world out of it. But there is like a lot of hot rumors going around now where there might be a direct coming up soon. So like it's getting more and more involved. But it does seem like people are really, the rumors are really heating up for a July direct. So like sometime in this month. So maybe, well, I still like, as much as it's heated, I still think, I really just don't know. It seems to me like they're pretty much doing everything in their power to say, look, it's not happening. But if it happens, great. You know, like if a direct happens this month or even next month, hell, like that's cool. Great. I'm on board with that. But like, I don't know. I'm still not convinced on that yet. But maybe by the time this even comes out, or whoever's watching it, it'll be out and you'll be like, fucking idiot. But
told you so.
Yeah, and then of course, speaking of those rumors, like you getting even more ridiculous. These like Nintendo fans, man, they can be fucking crazy.
You're like ravenous for like more content.
Oh yeah, because they're like, so especially with like Breath of the Wild, right? Like everyone just wants it, and I just at this point in time, I think most people have come to terms with it's probably no longer a 2020 game.
Yeah.
Which, okay, you know, but like it's getting to the point now where it almost sort of feels like people are just sort of like making things up to try to like stir up rumors just to have more conversations about the game at this point. Because there's now like all these rumors like, oh, Breath of the Wild 2 might still be a 2020 game because the game's almost done. How do I know that? Well, they're on a Spanish talk show or panel. The Spanish dubbing, like the people that did the Spanish dubs for the voice acting, made like some kind of passing comment or joke about how like they weren't allowed to talk about where they were at with and how they're working on again. I can't remember the details because this is so insignificantly dumb to me, but basically people were like trying to read through the lines of this Spanish translation and how it could mean that the dubs are done and therefore the game must be done and ready to be released.
Latching onto like the smallest detail.
And here's the other thing though, like even if like, because this is the other thing that sometimes people don't think about, but like even if the game is, oh shit, I almost just spilled my wine all over the place. Even if so if you see my like images and I just like go out, I have spilled the wine if you see that. But even if like the game is complete and you know whatnot, it's still like they're still going to want to have a marketing blitz for this thing. They're gonna want to have like let this thing simmer and take time. Like even like I think the rumors are pretty heavy. Like rumors came out like 2 years ago at this point at the Game Awards that Metroid Prime Trilogy HD collection was supposed to be there, and they're still not doing anything with it. But all these rumors are saying that game's been done for a while now. They're probably holding on to it because they want it to be closer to the release of Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah.
And that's so like that, and they're going to do stuff like that because you for sales you want to optimize that kind of shit, right? So like you don't want to have like even if Breath of the Wild 2 is complete, they haven't had enough time to really market the shit out of that game that they would want to do so that they can maximize their profits, you know? Like I don't know, I just these things get so crazy. And it's funny too because I think there was even a more recent part of the more recent rumors that said Breath of the Wild was expect to know more about Breath of the Wild before summer's over. So, you know, but within the next couple of months, we'd have like a trailer or something, which cool. I'm like the biggest Breath of the Wild fan there is. So like I get it. We're thirsty, you know, we're as thirsty as Jesse was in Final Fantasy VII Remake, you know, like I get it.
Hi, Cloud.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't like that game's just not coming this year. And I hope that I'm proven wrong, but I just don't think I'm going to be. But
it's
yeah,
better not to be let down, you know, and have hopes dashed.
It's just like a notorious thing with Nintendo fans. Like, this is what happens all the time, is like build up these ridiculous expectations only to, you know, just be knocked back down. But okay.
So I feel like with Nintendo guys, kind of like you said, like they latch on like the smallest details. You ever see those conspiracy movies where someone has like yarn from one pin to the other across the room? There's all these things where it's like at the center is like Mario with it like looking down.
Yeah, it's like,
but I feel like it's kind of what I'm hearing.
It's even like the Zelda timelines, right? Have you ever like seen shit come out with that? Like, I am not a timeline. I do not have that much time on my hands. But I'm pretty sure Nintendo themselves have come out and said, guys, there's no fucking timeline. It doesn't matter. We're just doing what we want to do. And people are still like, dude, but if you think about this, and it's just like they literally said, no, don't worry about it.
No.
Or like maybe they started and then they said, fuck it, you know? But anyway, it's just, like people, I mean, it's fun, you know, like everyone can do whatever they want.
Wish, but man.
Yeah. But yeah, like people do what they want, but it's funny. But you know what? And that's pretty much all the news that we actually have for today, for this week. But I wanted to touch onto one more subject here because it was a question that we got by one of our buddies, and I don't know if they want to remain anonymous or not. So we have bribed
friends,
acquaintances,
we have some friends.
Yeah, but the question that person had asked, and it kind of goes into the news anyway, which is something I've been seeing a lot lately, which is, you know, that burning question of course, next generation coming out, and is the Switch dead? What's Nintendo gonna do with PS5 and Xbox One or Xbox Series X? Like, how are they gonna survive? You know, what's third party? All this kind of shit, and it's just, I've seen this come up. So, like, people have been talking about this a lot lately, and it's just like, it's kind of funny to me because I don't understand this like type of question. Like, I mean, I know why people are asking. I know like what they're thinking, but I don't know why they're thinking like that because. But
pause for dramatic effect.
Yeah, but it's funny because like I like Nintendo's like kind of like, if you're thinking about it, because this question is really, I think, boils down to one aspect, which is like third-party support, right? Like, because if you're gonna consider it dead or in trouble, really the only thing that it's in trouble of is third-party support. Which,
yeah,
sure, I think that there's going to be a difference. I don't think third-party support's going to stop. I think Switch will thrive for many more years and still get third-party support. It might not be all these, it might not be the same as in like, oh, we're going to get the latest Dooms and all. It might not be that, but we're still going to get some third-party people that develop or port old titles or develop their own IPs and stuff like that and bring over. Or these indie style type games or simplistic style games are still going to hit new systems. So like you might see support from those types of games. But here's the thing. Third-party support on a Nintendo is kind of like, what do you want? Like, I think at the end of the day, like, third-party support kind of sucks now, you know, like, because the Switch is, and it's always has, like, the Switch, even when third parties were thriving on Nintendo systems, they were still shitty. You know, they were like watered down versions, what have you. But like, currently, the Switch is less powerful, relatively significantly less powerful than a PS4 even base model or Xbox One base model, and it came out midway through those systems' life cycle. So like, it's pretty far back from even the current gen, and yet, big shocker, that had no effect on its success at all. Because the thing about Nintendo systems, Switch and any other system they make for that matter, it's like Nintendo's all about first party. Like that's really why you buy into Nintendo systems, is for your Marios, your Zeldas, your Metroids, your Donkey Kongs, all that shit, and then whatever creative new IPs that they come out with. Of course, now your Splatoon's, Animal Crossing. That's why you buy into these systems, and the new generation's not going to take that away from Nintendo. So, and it's sort of like, if you're buying a Nintendo console for third-party support, you're doing it wrong, right? Like if you want those types of games, if you want to play games like the latest Assassin's Creed or Spider-Man, I guess that's an exclusive, but like even like Watch Dogs and Grand Theft Autos and shit like that. Like if you want to play these types of games, get those systems, you know, like you're likely to buy those anyway. Nintendo, you get for that first party support. So, and the first party support's so good too that it stands the test of time and it holds up just as good. Like, even, I'm kind of rambling here at this point, but even if you look at like the ports that exist now, right? Because everyone's like, oh, third party support's amazing on Switch. Some things are good, right? Like old games, like Skyrim looks amazing, runs amazing. That's cool. I don't know, like a lot of these old ports, you know, that you think that hit the Switch are fine. But even like recent games that people marvel at, right? Like Doom, Wolfenstein, The Witcher 3. These suck on Switch. I'm sorry. Like I'm going to be the first, as much as I am a supporter of Nintendo and the Switch, like these are very inferior versions. And it's impressive that they run on the system, but that's really the main thing. The actual game itself is like, most of these ports either run bad or look bad or both, you know. Like it's like Doom, like everyone's like so impressed, but at one point there's several points in the game where the audio went crazy and it went down to 15 frames a second. But yeah, it's cool that it runs, but I'm just saying, like, even now third-party support and ports and stuff that we get are kind of terrible, but it doesn't have an effect, because ultimately the main core function of a Nintendo system is those first-party games. Those are not going away. Those are just going to keep coming. Those are probably just going to keep getting better and better too. And the other idea that like a Switch revision might help with this, I don't think so, because they'd still have to, you know, like optimize it to run on all Switches, you know, otherwise that's gonna fuck the whole family of systems up. So just I don't know, I guess like that's why, like, I think that question's kind of dumb, and that concept of the Switch is in trouble is dumb. It's like, no, it's not. It's thriving. It's like currently, you know, based on its like trends, kind of currently kicking the current gen ass, and I think it's going to continue to sort of ride these waves, and then you know, like once you get games like Breath of the Wild 2 and the next Mario game and all that kind of shit, like it's just going to continue to like blow people's expectations out of the water. And I don't know, I just thought that was kind of a, I mean, it's thanks for the question, asshole. No, but it's one of those, like, I get it. I get why people, it's everybody does, people do this all the time, but I don't, like, why are you expecting AAA experiences on a tablet to begin with? And why is that? Why you're like, why do you expect that? And get a different, what are you doing? Like, it's just like the only thing I have to ask about that. But no, Switch is not remotely dead. It will not be dead. It will thrive. It will continue to, those numbers will continue to rise. I'm sure they will do revisions, and that will help with the numbers. I don't think that's going to do much for third-party support, but no, Nintendo IPs are still just going to keep kicking ass. And and that's what Nintendo's so good too. Like, everyone talks about underpowered Nintendo shit, and it's just like, see, Nintendo's very good. They're kind of like Apple, right? Like Apple to PC. Like Apple has, like, a lot of times inferior, you know, sort of like tech and hardware, you know, like specs comparatively to PC counterpart. But Apple is very good at developing their own software for their own hardware and singular devices, just tiered versions, obviously. But like, so that's why Apple runs so smooth, and their products, and oftentimes, like, I know even in like video editing software, like my stuff runs so much better on my Apples than it does my PC stuff, just because it's just designed so inherently fluid. And Nintendo's very much like that. They're very good at designing their like their software, their IPs for their systems. I mean, look at, you know, we already talked about this, but look at Luigi's Mansion 3. The game's beautiful. I would say it rivals and contends with today's day and like today's AAA games. It doesn't have the same art style as something as Last of Us 2, but it's still impressively gorgeous, just like that game. And I would even argue that this art style is actually more beneficial because it's cartoony, it's animated, it holds up more than some of these AAA realism type games are going to go. But now I feel like I've gotten off point, but, you know, standing up for my boy Nintendo.
I think you could have summarized it well. And even from my perspective on things, I'm not a big Switch like fanboy. I own a Switch. I do see its validities. But if you look at the kind of how things are pushed in the marketplace, IPs drive sales. You know, Sony has its IPs, and that's why Sony kicks Xbox's ass. You can make the arguments night and day about which systems were powerful, but no one gives a shit. It's about IPs. And if you look at it, really, the Switch doesn't have a competitor in the handheld market. You have smartphones, but can they really do what a Switch can do? So combine the portability with the IPs, the Switch doesn't have anyone that can fight it. The concept that the Switch is dead, it seems ludicrous to me, even from someone who's kind of a layman. Yeah. When looking at the Switch itself, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's just sad that like everyone has to be talking about that right now, because it's just like, no. And I'm pretty sure. I mean, I don't read into too many. I'm pretty sure if you clicked on any of them, they'd probably all be saying the same thing right now. No.
Yeah.
Not even a little bit. Not even a fraction of Switch is going to be dead. Yeah. Not at all. Clicks. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you'll see it in our thumbnail. But
Switch is dead.
Selling out. But honestly, yeah, it's just such a silly. Don't worry about that. If you're out there concerned, stop. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, like, I mean, you could argue that like something like the Xbox or xCloud or something, you know, you could see as somewhat of a competitor, but that's of course all going to be streaming online, you know, like all that kind of stuff. And there's of course not going to have the same tech that you get in a Switch, and also you're not going to get those IPs that you get with Nintendo, which again is why people buy Nintendo. Yes, like like Breath of the Wild, again, whether you like the game or don't like the game, Breath of the Wild, at least in my opinion, and I think just in general is one of the best games ever created. That's in my opinion. You can't play that game on anything. Like, you can't play that game on anything other than a Nintendo console. I mean, unless PC hacks, mods, whatever. But you know what I mean? Like, it's just like that's how you play these games, and that's why these systems work. I don't know. The end. Bye.
Get one of those like director's chop, like scene cut.
Anyway, that's all we have for you this day, today on this segment. And thanks for the question, by the way. And if you do have questions for us, feel free to reach out to us on Twitter, on email, which you can access on our website, couchplaycousins.com. We're happy to to respond and to take any good question that we see. And, maybe we'll do an incentive on that kind of stuff in the future too. But again, thanks for the question. You're wrong. But anyway, so thanks. If you like this kind of content, if you like us, subscribe, hit the like button. If you don't like this content, subscribe, hit the like button. Just don't be a dick. But anyway, and then be sure to check out all the other content that we create, our couch plays, where we're going to be doing those giveaways there, starting this week, and then all the other shit, our reactions and everything else. But anyway, till the next video, cheers.
Later, guys.